You know what, folks? There was simply never a doubt.
You are Locked On Tigers, your daily Detroit Tigers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Tigers. I'm, of course, your host, Scott Bentley. Today is Friday, August 15th, 2025. Thank you so much for making Locked On Tigers your first listen. Every single day, we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, not projects, podcasts, including YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. Enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip or two to any golf tournament in the USA. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament. Ends October 31st, 2025. The Detroit Tigers are winners on Thursday night by a score of 4-3 in a game that went 11 innings in Minnesota. Wowzers. That is... I think we need to all do our breathing exercises, okay, that I learn in therapy to like calm down. I was doing every single breathing exercise I could think of there for the last probably half hour of baseball that was played on the field. 4-3 in 11. Tigers improved to 71-52 on the season, while Minnesota falls to 57-64. And just like that, the Tigers have won 5 of their last 7 ball games. First thought, it was a sigh of relief. It was phew. I can't do phew. I can't, whatever. You get it. Never a doubt. This was not good for the heart. It was good for the soul, okay? It was good. The result was good for the soul, not good for the heart. Skubal was shaky, especially early, but then figures it out and grinds through, right? And actually puts together a pretty solid performance. The offense, shaky, but figures it out and grinds a little bit and does just enough. The bullpen is shaky, but figures it out and grinds through. The bullpen didn't give up a run in this game. It's just that's miraculous considering what the last 2 innings looked like. I mean, yeah, like this is just another ball game that wasn't pretty. It felt gross while you were watching. You were tense and anxious, or just like pissed off and frustrated. And it didn't feel like it was going to go the Tigers' way for a lot of it, if not like all of it until the final out. And then they won. Look, I've said this before. In all seriousness, winning when your team isn't playing its best matters. Okay? Now, in the same breath, you have to figure out how to get back to playing your best, because you won't win ball games if you play like this in October. But it's the middle of August, and it's the grind of an 162-game season. You're in the dog days. It's important because good teams win even when they are not firing on all cylinders and all playing their best baseball. So look, the competition this week wasn't good. The product from the Detroit Tigers was not much better, but it was better. And just like that, you've won 3 of your last 4 heading into this weekend, and you've won 5 of your last 7 over the last week. And I'll be darned, I don't care how it looks. I will always take that. So what went right? I don't even know where to start. That was so stressful, dude. It was stressful. It was almost kind of like the reverse of extra credit on a test in school. What's the opposite of extra credit? That's what that was. If you win, people, like most of the fan base, is just going to be like, you didn't look very good. It was the Twins. They're terrible. Meh. And then if you lose, it's, oh my goodness, you lost to the terrible Twins. We're not going to apologize for wins. We're not going to complain about wins. Positive vibes here on this show, okay? We need to remember that winning is the name of the game, no matter how pretty it is. Riley Greene, 1 for 3 with a home run, a walk, and a great defensive play in left field. He's been a lot better at the plate for about a week now. And this is, again, I don't even think anybody really, I don't want to say cares. That seems way too dramatic. But unless I'm totally off base here, I feel as though the pulse of the fan base is almost like, okay, like we know the shtick by now. Like we know that he's going to get hot again, and then he's going to be really good, and then he's going to get cold again, and then he's going to struggle. Like until he goes a long period of time playing at a very high level, I think that it's always just going to kind of be in the back of people's minds, like this could maybe end at any moment. And so that's where, again, unless I'm totally off base with my like interpretation of the fan base's, interpretation of Riley Greene at the present moment, at least. But the fact of the matter is, he's been really good over the last week. He's been much better in the batter's box, and he continues to be a positive asset defensively as well. So good to see that, because this team, I mean, if you're looking ahead and you're looking for, you know, the important games at the end of the season in September, and then you start talking about October baseball, this team's not doing anything unless they get the good version of Riley Greene. So hopefully that's something that's more here to stay. Colt Keith only goes 1 for 5 in this ball game, so I don't want to say that he had a great game, all encompassing. He was the DH, so didn't provide anything defensively either. However, the at-bat he had where he did have an RBI single and score Javi Baez, I thought was absolutely beautiful. That is just, you know, I talk all the time about how the next step for Colt Keith is to really tap into the power. He has crazy power, especially for his position. But even besides the point, like this kid has raw power and just like hasn't consistently tapped into it at the major league level yet. But like we saw what he had the ability to do in the minor leagues. We saw that he was, maybe the best minor league hitter in the Tigers organization in my lifetime before, this era of Kevin McGonigal rules the world. And so I think that it is important to also state that while I'm waiting for him to untap into his full power potential, I also really appreciate his ability to shorten the swing, just have a short, compact, I'm going to hit a nice soft line drive here and score a run from second base with no outs and a man in scoring position. That was a mistake pitch. It was not a good offering from the pitcher whatsoever, and he took advantage of it. I don't need you to be Adam Dunn. I don't need you to be Joey Gallo. I don't need you to swing out of your shoes every swing in order to reach that full power potential. You can still do stuff like this, and it's absolutely beautiful and a great plate appearance. Let's talk about some defense. We'll talk about some pitching. We'll talk about some roster moves. We got a lot still to go over right after this. Got to talk to you today about our friends over at 5 Hour Energy. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger, and lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course to a non-alcoholic boost. Perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the course or just need a little extra push to power through your day, 5 Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love without ever leaving the green. Golf is a great, beautiful, and yet frustrating game. And sometimes you just got to lock in. 5 Hour Energy can help you do that. Sometimes you play one round, you play really well, you want to risk your luck a little bit. You want to push your luck, as my mother used to say. And so you want to go for another 18. Well, you're going to need to lock in for that too. And 5 Hour Energy Transfusion can help you do that. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. The grape, ginger, lime flavor of 5 Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse. go to without leaving the course or chasing down the bev cart. Now you can amp up your fun even more. Buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win your dream golf trip or two to any golf tournament in the USA. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters Tournament. Ends October 31st, 2025. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Segment 2, Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. As always, making us your first listen every single day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day. And we will, of course, be back on Monday, recapping the rest of this 4-game set against the Twins. Today, though, we talk about this 4-3 victory in 11 innings for your Detroit Tigers. Want to give Javi credit defensively. Not only did he play another really good center field for the first, whatever it was, 7-8 innings or 9 innings. Then in extras, he moves back to shortstop mid-game and makes a couple of nice plays there. That is, look, he has not hit for much of anything since the All-Star break. We kind of knew that he was going to come back down to earth to some extent. The offensive production just straight up isn't there anymore. We're all aware, okay? We have catchers setting up in different area codes when he goes up to the plate again, just like old times. We're aware of this, but there is at least some semblance of value being produced when you have a guy that can do that and run into one every once in a while. So want to give him credit, despite the fact that I'm going to talk about what him and what went wrong when we talk about his offense. Tarik Skubal. You know, I am still putting him on the side of things that went right, just for the record. 7 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 1 home run against. His ERA is now 2.42 on the season. The changeup was still really good. The fastball command was absolutely brutal. And that is not something that I'm not sure I've said those exact words since like pre-injury. Like I'm not sure I've said that about Tarik Skubal since the middle of 2023. I'll be honest, the home run I don't even care about. That was a fastball dotted up and in to a lefty. Like that's if you turn and burn on that, tip your cap, dude. You turn and burn on a on the black Tarik Skubal fastball up and in the zone. Whatever. You deserve it. That's going to happen over the course of 162. Now, the rest of the 3rd inning, I have much more of a problem with because that was a lot more in his control. He couldn't locate anything, man. He has been so good for so long that anytime he's not like dang near perfect, everybody's like, oh my goodness, he like, what's wrong? He went 7 innings of 3-run ball, man. He gave up runs in 1 inning and had some of the worst, quote unquote, stuff that he's offered all season. He gave up runs in 1 total inning in 7. And one of the reasons why he's so good is because he's able to adjust mid-game. To have as bad of an inning as he did in the 3rd, and to have 0 strikeouts in those first 3 innings, stop the bleeding, and then still proceed to go 7 and not give up another run. And really, the Twins didn't even threaten after that, is pretty darn incredible. And a testament to, again, the adjustments that he was making mid-game, like in between innings. That takes an absolute master of your craft. And that is what Tarik Skubal is. So I understand, you know, it wasn't the flashiest stat line. He had trouble getting swing and miss early. He ended up still getting a ton of swing and miss on the changeup, kept the ball in the yard, and still went 7 innings and got a quality start. And the Tigers won. Bullpen did not give up a run. Okay. Might not believe that because there was a few heart attacks in there. But the bullpen goes shutout ball. Kyle Finnegan with 1 1/3 innings pitched of perfect baseball, 2 strikeouts, 3.77 ERA now on the season, still has not given up a run. Riley Greene with a fantastic catch in left field while he's out there. The thing that I am, and we've talked about this a lot just since he's come over, he is using the splitter so much more than he did in Washington. And I think that that's a Fetter thing. It's a Tigers pitching coaching staff type of mentality, right? But they are telling him to throw the splitter way more. And I really don't think it's rocket science. Like, he's a below average swing and miss pitcher with one specific pitch that gets a lot of swing and miss, and that's the splitter. So the Tigers are just like, well, maybe throw that pitch more. And he's doing it, and it's working. Now, hitters will adjust, and teams will adjust, and it's about how he then responds to that if they adjust in time before the season runs out. But for now, we're just going to ride the wave. He's been absolutely freaking fantastic. Fantastic. And looks like a great deadline addition. Tyler Holton, 1 of the 3rd innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. His ERA now down to 3.71. I thought that the way AJ used the bullpen in the first 9 innings, extras was a roller coaster of emotions. But I thought that the way that he utilized the bullpen up until Montero went in was a masterclass, right? Vest is not available. He had thrown 3 of the last 4 days. I know a lot of people were like, where's Will Vest? Where's Will Vest? Guys, you can't throw a reliever 100 times in a season, okay? He will just obliterate every ligament in his elbow. Like, I promise that the coaching staff knows what they're doing in that regard. So he's not available. Finnegan goes, Holton goes, Tigers don't score. We go into extras. Holton carries over a little bit into extra innings. Still, I think, is pitching good baseball. That cutter, again, he doesn't get a ton of swing and miss, but the cutter misses barrels and induces weak contact, and that's good enough. The defense in extra innings was fantastic. Spencer Torkelson on the plate of the plate was beautiful. Man, if they would have lost the game on that little like check swing, all the bat's like on his shoulder still, he just turns his body into the ball, I would have been fuming. Okay, so thank goodness. Great tag by Dingler as well. And then McKinstry with a fantastic play at third base in the 12th inning on a slow roller to third. Don't want that to go overlooked either. So defense was fantastic in this ball game. And then enter Rafael Montero, who goes 1 1/3 of perfect baseball with 2 strikeouts. His ERA is now 5.52 on the season. Good for him, man. For real. Like that is awesome. Like just the man in the arena mentality of like, you know, I'm sure that these players see, you know, fan base's opinions or idiots like me, you know, criticizing bringing in a certain player or criticizing a trade or whatnot. For him to go out there in that moment, in that high of a leverage of situation and come out on top and not allow a base runner is just absolutely remarkable. He gets the last out of the 11th and then pitches, or the 10th rather, and then pitches the entire 11th as well. And closes the door, gets the win for Detroit. I feel so happy for him, and I hope that he feels good about that performance because that's just got to feel awesome. What went wrong offensively? Okay, they score 4 runs. One of those, a Manfred runner in extras. The offense as a whole, man, I know 4 runs isn't anything to like be upset over, so I feel like I'm crying over spilled milk here, but like they struggled again. Like that wasn't an inspiring offensive performance. They end with 6 hits, a couple of those in extras. They had like 3 or 4 through 9 innings and 3 runs. 2 walks in 11 innings. Thankfully, one of those hits was a home run with a man on base. And so here we are. again, even the people on the side of things that went right, okay, even like Riley Greene and some of the guys we highlighted over there, Colt Keith, I mentioned, like it's one good result. I guess Riley Greene had a walk too, but like it's one good result for the most part. They just can't seem to string together at bats. There's no offensive momentum. They are either getting bailed out by running into a home run somewhere and hoping that a man is on base, or they're not scoring. And that's something that obviously needs to change. So we'll look for that this weekend. Tarik Skubal, third inning. If you want to like be really specific about what went wrong, I already talked about that. His command in the third inning was just absolutely, I mean, legitimately the worst I think I've seen from a single inning, at least from him all year, maybe in 2 years. I probably not fair of me to say that. I'm sure he had like one bad inning at some point last season, but like I mean, go watch. Like he's just spraying the ball everywhere, and then he makes an adjustment and locks the F down and goes 4 shutout afterwards because he's the baddest dude on the planet. Only other thing I want to mention on the side of things that went wrong, Gleyber Torres does get the game-winning RBI thanks to a sac fly, but continues to slide, goes 0 for 4 in this ball game. Some wild stats, man. His batting average is now lower than Riley Greene and Kerry Carpenter. It's the same as Colt Keith. His OPS is down to 764. That's lower than Zach McKinstry's and Winfield Perez. Like, the reason why is because he has zero power in his bat anymore. I'm sure it's an approach thing. He wants to be the guy that can get on base, and he's still like he's getting on base at a good clip. All of that is fine. It's singles and walks, and he's at the top of the lineup. He can be a guy that, you know, the big hitters behind him drive in. It's all great. It's all good. He's had a fantastic year. I'm not trying to slander him or say that this year has been like unsuccessful or anything. I'm just pointing out, if you look at it and you go, wow, that OPS seems lower than maybe I would have expected. Yeah, he grinds out at bats. He makes pitchers throw a lot of pitches, fouls a lot of balls off, and just gets singles and walks. And that's pretty much his game. And that's fine at the top of the lineup and at second base. But when he's not getting those singles and walks, you have stretches like this where he's not providing too much of anything, except, again, obviously credit where credit is due, gets the sac fly late. I think that's pretty much it. Like the only other thing I really want to highlight is just, I actually want to talk a little bit more about Montero. So let's go to a break and then I'll just make that stuff and we'll talk about Rafael Montero again. We'll do that right after this. Got to talk to you about our friends over at Monarch Money. Most people can't name all of their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. And it's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without even touching a spreadsheet. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off of your first year. That's 50% off of your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Third and final segment of Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. We are going to talk stuff. That's pretty much it for the side of things that went wrong. I do want to talk about Montero, just the decision to go to him, etc. First off, the at-bat he had to Byron Buxton was terrible. Look, I'm going to praise the dude. I'm genuinely, I am so happy for him, given all of the kind of conversation that, again, like people like me have been putting out there. I think it's so cool to be able to have your, like, you know, middle finger up moment, if you will, to people that have been talking like that. But go look at the at-bat to Byron Buxton. That's a guy with an OPS in the 900s. He enters the game and throws 3 meatballs down the middle and gets out of it. Foul ball, line drive to Javi at shortstop. The 11th inning, to his credit, was much different. He was locating his secondary stuff a lot better. The stuff is good. The command is just kind of all over the place. The final pitch of the game, though, I think is brilliant, right? If I want to criticize the Buxton at bat, I'm going to praise and pump the tires big time for the Royce Lewis at bat. Going to a slider to end the game there is nothing short of incredible. Okay. Again, he has good stuff. He's been fastball splitter the entire outing. That was his first slider of the outing. And it was the last pitch of the ball game. Royce Lewis is sitting dead red, has seen a lot of pitches. He's thinking he's seen the kitchen sink. He's seen everything that he's going to throw, and he hasn't. And that's absolutely beautiful. So again, tip of the cap to Rafael Montero. Stuff. I guess this already was stuff. Extra innings. As the road team in extras, you desperately need one run. You desperately need swing and miss out of your bullpen in one-run games and extras. Again, especially on the road. You need whiffs out of your bullpen. This team does not have one outside of Will Vest. Will Vest is one of those. He can get strikeouts at a really high clip, too. Everybody else is spotty at best in that department. And because Will Vest wasn't available tonight, they have one guy that has high whiff rates in their entire bullpen. Enter Rafael Montero, baby. And I genuinely think that's why he was used, aside from the fact that just people higher than him on the pecking order were already used or were not available. I really do think it was, okay, the Manfred runner is on, right? You need swing and miss because you can get 2 fly balls and still blow this lead. We need swing and miss. And they got it in the right arm of Montero. Gets a strikeout to end the ball game. Roster moves Bailey Horn to the majors and Sawyer Gibson-Long back down to AAA. A lot of people freaking out about this. I mean, I'm not pleased, I'll say, to see the notification, right? To have that come across the desk. I'm not thrilled about. I think this is just an opportunity for this bullpen desperately needed someone to kind of give innings. And so they went Melton to Sawyer Gibson-Long. Those two were able to go most of that ball game, 7 innings of that game. I think that they're probably looking at it going, okay, we can send Long back down. We can send SGL back down. He can maybe get a start or two. Maybe he's still nursing something from the injury. I don't know, man. I'm trying to do some mental gymnastics to make this an easier pill to swallow for you, the listener. I wouldn't lose sleep over it. I'm sure SGL will be back at some point over the last month and a half of the season. I'm sure Bailey Horn, barring him looking incredible, is not going to be a guaranteed roster spot on this team. We'll see what happens. I would imagine Hannafy comes back at some point as well. Maybe they just want another lefty for the Twins series, and then Hannafy comes back after that when they, are okay going back to a righty. I'm not sure. They do mix and match stuff like that all the time. So we'll keep an eye on it. What else? Rocco tossed. That was kind of electric, honestly. That was an old school ejection. You got to love those. Kicking dirt. He throws the hat. That was an old school ejection there. I've always kind of respected and liked Rocco, despite him being a manager for a division rival. I'm also, funny enough, I'm not actually sure that did hit the ground. I promise I'm not trying to be biased here. It might have. I might be wrong. It might have. But it was close at best or at worst, I guess. It was really close. And when they showed the replay in slow motion, that was certainly not clear enough to garner and justify that level of reaction from your dugout where you can't even really see that. I don't know. We'll take an ejection. We'll take a win. I just thought it was kind of funny that I'm not really sure you can be confident that did hit the ground. Tarik Skubal wearing some cool cleats, and this weekend is Players Weekend. So you're going to see a lot of really cool bats, really cool cleats, and then you'll see the Little League Classic game in Williamsport on Sunday. The Tigers played in that last year, had a big walk-off. I think it was that Jace Young or Parker Meadows maybe in that ball game. So, Tigers won't be in the Little League Classic again this year, but still a really fun weekend all around. People wear cool socks and gear and cleats and have, the custom bat skins are allowed for the weekend. We always have a pencil bat somewhere. It'll be cool. It'll be a fun weekend in that regard. I think that they should lean into that a little bit more, but who am I? Kevin McGonigal with another home run. Max Clark with a moonshot on Thursday. McGonigal with another home run, I think, on Wednesday. So last time we talked about when he had his 2 home run game earlier in the week, he had 3 home runs in a 2-game stretch, and then Max Clark had a home run. They're both just crushing Double-A. I don't know. I really think there's an argument to be made to send both of them to Toledo to finish the year. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I think I don't want to rush anybody, and they're very young, but you got to challenge the player as well. Does nobody any good if it's just too easy either. So we'll see what happens the rest of the season. Last thing I want to bring up, the Tigers are 19-8 in 1-run games this year. I think that's a tip of the cap to AJ Hinch. The Tigers were really good in 1-run games down the stretch last season as well. I think that's a testament to AJ. I think it's a testament, as much as I've complained about it, to the bullpen. And I don't want to call it luck, because that totally does not give nearly enough credit to all the work that this team puts in and all the players put in and the great job that they do. But 1-run games are one of those things that can vary greatly from one year to the next. So, enjoy it. Keep riding the wave. And hopefully this bullpen continues to succeed in those close nail-biter games as we get to October. Okay, you got a 3-game set against Minnesota this weekend. Well, it's a 4-game set. You've just already played a game. You have 3 games left against Minnesota this weekend. Charlie Morton against TBD. Casey Mize against Zebby Matthews, who you faced, a week and a half ago and was frustrating at best. And Paddock against TBD on Sunday. Okay, so we have 1 guaranteed matchup. We have no clue who the Twins are throwing. I'm not sure they know who they're throwing. They traded everybody away. So you should probably go take 3 of 4 from the Minnesota Twins. You probably should do that. Thanks for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day. And we, of course, will be back on Monday recapping this series and talking about the rest of the season. All right, peace and love. Going to therapy's dope. I'll catch y'all then, baby. Go Tigers.